Hello everyone, welcome again to my transit series on Zidam Astrology. This is for the period May 6th to 20th, 2022. Join me on this journey. As you know, on ZidamAstrology.com, I like to give you information so that you can understand what is happening and why it is happening and why I specifically do what I do. This slide continues to just give you information on some of the terminology that I use when I describe the nakshatras, which are the stars. You know the zodiac, which are the rasis, those are the signs, and the padas, a new term for those who don't follow Vedic astrology. But I do, and this is just giving you a heads up on exactly what I mean or what I'm speaking about when I talk about the division of the sky. So that I have gone through this slide on my previous videos. You can view those, or you can always drop me a line or send me an email at zida55@outlook.com so I can answer any questions or queries you may have. I urge you to share, sign up, subscribe, and also follow my videos. Thank you so much. Okay, let's choose the cards for this period, May 6th to 20th, 2022. And those of you who have been subscribing, who have been requesting clarification or asking questions, would know that I have aligned tarot with Vedic astrology in terms of the grahas and where they are. And with the transit, grahas, except for moon, which moves every 2.5 days, you really don't have too much movement of grahas within a month. We have Jupiter moving once a year, Saturn moving every 2.5 years, Rahu and Ketu moving every 1.5 years, and then we have Venus, Mars, Mercury, and Sun moving every month. And here we have the first card, Lord Indra. So this is the deity, Lord Indra. So that, as I was saying, you know, those cards moving, not the cards, the planets, sorry, moving every month, you don't have too much movement. So I use the cards here to enable me to analyze it in a different way, or analyze it in a way that could be beneficial to you, and not that, you know, I'm telling you the same thing every transit series. So we chose Lord Indra as the deity. Now we're looking at the 10th house, which is the karma bhava, for your concentration, where we might have to see what is happening in your 10th house and what might be some kind of issue or success obstacles in your 10th house. And the element we have here is water. So you might be a little emotional about your 10th house. You might be a little emotional, probably in a very positive way, that something has been happening, that you have a sense of relief. And only the cards and the grahas will tell us that. And for you specifically, only requesting your kundali will tell me where I should concentrate this on, which is your 10th house, so that your specific information will give me that targeted analysis for you. And this is the wisdom chakra that we are going to select here now. And let us see if the theme continues to be transformation. Well, it's growth, and it is kind of a transformation, but it's growth. And we will look at that when we are doing the analysis on the transit of the grahas as to where they are for the period. And now we are going to get the planet or the graha that may give you some added support or obstacles for this period. And that planet, let's see what that planet or graha, as we say in Vedic astrology, let's see which of the 9 or 10 we'll see. Okay, here we have Neptune, and I've included Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto because while Vedic astrology don't really look at them, because I have aligned tarot with Vedic astrology, I have included these 3 planets to my reading of the tarot because the planets are there. You know, why should we just not look at them? Why should we just leave them on their own? They do affect us in a particular way. They have some energies that come through our lives at times, so that the information is there. We have researched it. The persons who found these stars or these planets have documented it. It's not a fallacy, it's not an illusion. So I use whatever information I have in terms of Vedic astrology and tarot reading. I just seem to have a little distraction there. Just let me see how I can deal with. Okay, so we're going through now. This is the Queen of Pentacles in the tarot spread. The Queen of Pentacles. Then we have, let's see, the second card is the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands. Then we have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands, followed by the Ten of Wands. So a lot of fire and passion. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles. Then the King of Swords. So we have Pentacles, Wands, and Swords. And this King of Swords is followed by the Queen of Swords. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune. The Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups. And the Nine of Wands. So we have quite a bit of issues that may be coming up with these cards. Let's look at the transit and see how we can align these cards with the transit of the Grahas. Okay, let's start with the transit of the Grahas. And from the last period when I did my video for the transit ending May 5th, we now see on May 6th that Saturn has joined Mars in Aquarius. So Saturn has moved from Capricorn to join Mars in Aquarius. Venus has moved from Aquarius to join Jupiter in Pisces, and Mercury has moved from Aries into Taurus, but Sun and Rahu are still in Aries. We have Moon in Gemini and Ketu in Libra. And let's see what this means in that. Let's see what Saturn is going to bring for us in Aquarius. And Saturn is only there for a short period, because Saturn is going back to Capricorn in the middle of July in retrogression, so that Saturn may spend just over 2 months in Aquarius, because Saturn is there now in May and June, and then the beginning of July or the middle of July Saturn will go back in Capricorn. And one of the things that you have to remember about transit is that transits are always secondary to the dasha that you're going through. So this is why these readings are general and they are not personalized to you. It's a general feeling of what the planets could do at this particular point in time in a particular zodiac sign. For it to be personal to you, then we need to know as astrologers where you are currently, what Mahadasha you are going through. And that's another term that we use in Vedic astrology that gives you a cycle, so that you can look it up. You can check my zidamastrology.com to get further information on this. And transits are also calculated from the moon and the ascendant, and this is natal moon and natal ascendant. And when we calculate it from the moon, it's more of a mental or emotional influence, while transits from the ascendant may impact you more physically. So this is why it is really important for us to know where your ascendant is or your lagna in Vedic astrology before we can specifically target an analysis for you. So just a word of caution, just a word of understanding what we're doing here. And this is just so that you could understand Vedic astrology and you could understand what it is we are doing. And when you have Saturn in Aquarius with Mars is still continuing his rebellious stage. He's continuing his rebellious stage, but currently he's in Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is a Jupiter owned nakshatra. So Mars is connected to Jupiter in that respect. in Pisces, and coincidentally too, Venus and Jupiter in Pisces are in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is a Saturn owned deity. So that you have Saturn, Jupiter and Mars with Venus here being connected through the energies of the nakshatras. And Mars continues in Aquarius to try to do something rebellious, different, create and invent new thoughts and processes. Obviously Saturn, and it will be a little expansion for him since he's sitting in Jupiter's nakshatra Purva Bhadrapada, but this is in Aquarius where Saturn rules. So Saturn will bring a little restraining to this warrior star and give him the rewards, but Saturn is a delayed planet. It's a planet that gives you obstacles, that wants to teach you discipline, that wants to be productive and advise you that slow and steady is the way to go, and not quick and aggressive. And that is what Mars is, quick and aggressive. But Saturn is going to put a halt to that respect, even though Jupiter wants to expand. So we have to look at how we want to do things. We might want to do things quickly, we might want to do things rapidly, but Saturn is going to put a halt a little bit to us. And again, it all depends on your chart and how strong Saturn is in your chart. And while Saturn is in Aquarius, it's time for us to take a critical look at our social lives, our ideals, our principles, our associations and group involvement, our community contributions probably, and community involvement. It can certainly be a time when we are more cautious and careful in our social lives, because Mars is pushing there with Jupiter energies in the Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra, but Saturn is there in his own home, in his own house. So who is the stronger? And as we look at these things a little more critically, we may come up with new methods and approaches that may naturally emerge, because we are looking at things in a new perspective. Because Saturn too is in its own sign, doesn't look to other influences for approval, because you're in your office. This is where you make decisions about your life and about others, because Saturn is the lord of karma. So that and then if this is your first house, it will be making decisions on yourself. If it's your 10th house, it will be your career. If it is your 6th house, it will be on your enemies and your routine day-to-day work. So it depends on the bhava. So here Saturn in Aquarius is the final dispositor, and thus he has the last word. While Saturn in Capricorn was all about self-preservation in many ways, Saturn in Aquarius is more focused on preserving the group, because Aquarius is the natural 11th house of the Kala Purush, which is all about networking. It's about income, it's about gains, it's about social activities. So this is a time for letting go of self-defeating attitudes that has been holding us back, or recognizing that we have been kind of expecting more than we can achieve. We are finding new and perhaps more authentic ways to nurture our ambitions, and we are seeing where we've been overconfident, maybe excessive, entitled, a little sloppy, so that these things would have contributed to our stagnation, our frustration, and we being let down only by ourselves. So that we have to understand that Venus and Jupiter remains in Pisces under review, and as I said before, they are in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, which is a Saturn ruled nakshatra. So that while Venus may want to give us the luxuries and the beauty and all that we have been held back from, because he is exalted in Pisces, Jupiter is also the expander, the great benefit, and he's at home. So he may want to expand all that he aspects on, but Saturn, he and Venus are sitting in a Saturn ruled nakshatra, so there is also some kind of restraint here for Jupiter and Venus. And then Sun and Rahu had their eclipse on I think it's April 30th, and now they are bypassed each other, so Sun is beyond Rahu's aspect or eclipse, and the Sun in Aries represents a spark of energy which instigates new life. You know, at a fundamental level, Aries here, the Sun here in Aries will motivate us to start and act, to be creative, because Aries is all about action, all about energy, all about creation, because Aries is the first house in the natural Kala Purush, or the normal zodiac, you know. And some you might be a little more direct or passionate in your thinking. You might be one step ahead of the crowd here because your creative juices are flowing. But we also have to remember the Ashwini Kumars, or the twin horsemen of Aries, and you know, they are the physicians of the gods, as we call them, but they are also very focused on what they want to achieve, and they don't really look at what is around them to achieve that. So don't be too impetuous or aggressive, as Rahu has completed his eclipse and moved on. But you know, Sun in Aries wants to take charge of a situation, and your sense of certainty usually make others fall in line, because you have that ego, you have that leadership qualities. But Rahu in Aries also creates confidence, you know, that you want to create your own identity for success. And Rahu is strong when it attains more than 10 degrees. And right now Rahu is at, as we see here on the chart, Rahu is at 28 degrees Aries. So Rahu is in Kritika Nakshatra. So that let us move along and see that, you know, what is the execution. And Rahu here, the execution of his illusionary strategies will be rapid, right? Because Rahu is all about bringing execution to the forefront, and Rahu converts himself as the lord of the sign it is sitting in, and then amplifies the quality of that lord. Because remember, Rahu is a shadow planet, Rahu is an illusion, so that Rahu sticks to the planet that it is, that where it's sitting at. So here in Aries, Mars is the ruler of Aries. So when Rahu is in Aries, Rahu will take on all the qualities of Mars and then amplify those qualities out of you know, out of bounds, out of a limit. So we have to look at that you know, you might be thinking big, you might strategize big, but where is the body? And the body, Mars is in Aquarius with Saturn. So again, we have restraint here, and Rahu and Mars are enemies, so that amplifying that energy may be very negative for Rahu at this point in time. We have Mercury in Taurus, where Mercury is quite stable, because Taurus is very stable, very reliable, but also very stubborn. So let us see what the cards are going to bring for us now. And the first card that we had in our video showing the selection of the card is the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles holds the position of unity, monad, you know, that new beginning, the unit number 1. And we call the Queen of Pentacles the housekeeper, and the housekeeper is all about bringing success, bringing abundance, and having the resources that is required to be financially secure, because success is yours if you are prepared to work hard for it. And this goes straight to Rahu, telling you that yeah, you can fight for success, you can fight for abundance between Venus and Jupiter, but you're not going to get it quick. Remember, Venus and Jupiter sits in a Rahu nakshatra, and there's restraint, because in going through the transit, the key word that came out there was restraint. And the Queen of Pentacles is enabling and supporting this restraint, because she's telling you that there's plenty to go around, you know, but you would only be able to hold on to your money if you had worked for it, and you are now going to be rewarded for it, you know. And the Queen of Pentacles represents prosperity, wealth, luxury, financial independence, but she tells you to approach things in a sensible manner, in a practical manner. Don't approach things willy-nilly. Don't let the sun, therefore, or Rahu's confidence in Aries allow you to lose what you have worked for. Use your head, not your heart. She tells you to set goals and work towards them steadily, you know. And as a person, you need to understand logic. You need to be organized. You need to be down to earth and practical. Although at this time you may have an affinity for the finer things in life, because that is what Venus wants to give you. And the resources are going to come because Jupiter wants to expand. Saturn is still putting a restraint on you, you know. But this also, Queen of Pentacles, is also related or relative to a wonderful, nurturing mother, a good cook or hostess, which is why we call her the housekeeper. You know, people feel welcome in her home, secure in her company, and they are able to confide in her, you know. So, and the Queen of Pentacles is assigned to the zodiac sign Capricorn. And while Saturn was in Capricorn, it was all about self-preservation. But now Saturn has gone into Aquarius, so it's all about preserving your family, your group, your network, your social activities. That is, you know, that is where the Queen of Pentacles is telling you now to look at yourself, be generous, but hold on a little bit. And then we have the next card is the Eight of Wands, with the moon as the energies here. And the Eight of Wands is all these wands coming quickly towards you, telling you that, you know, you might have to make quick decisions, because a lot of things may be coming to you at one time, but they're not coming to you at the same time, because these ones are staggered. You see, they're coming to you at different times. So you will have some time to think. You will have some time to use your mental capacity, because the moon is the energy here, so that you will be able to use your mental capacity to take a breath and make the decision that might be that should be reliable and gives you stability, because Mercury is in Taurus, the stubborn sign of the bull, you know, the sign that tells you take that breath, make that decision, think about things, be logical. So this, again, the cards here are giving us clarity as to how we will be approaching, or what will be the outcome of our quick decisions, because of the Eight of Wands. And then we have, and this is the consequences, you know, of us looking at the Queen of Pentacles having the resources and holding on to those resources. The consequences will be the Eight of Wands, and the Eight of Wands is telling you that you will have to make quick decisions because of all these people here, of all Venus, Jupiter and Mars fighting to do what they are naturally expected to do. Mars is aggressive, Jupiter is expansive, Venus wants to give us all the beauty and love in the world. Sun wants to be very authoritarian and be a leader, that he wants people to fall in line. But the consequences is that all these things are coming to you very quickly, but it is staggered. You have to take a breath and make the proper decision, because the consequences will give you the completion, the solution, the results that you are looking for. And then we have the Four of Wands, which will be conflict. So the conflict here is the sun. And you see, this is the sun. The sun is saying that he, with his probably attitude where he wants to be the leader, where he wants to be creative without thought, you have to look at the conflict that it may cause by you trying to be, or being more illuminated that you want to be at this point in time. And when I look at the Four of Wands in Vedic astrology, I look at these Four of Wands being the pillars, and the pillars in Vedic astrology are the kendras, as we call them, and they are above us: 1, 4, 7, and 10. 1 is yourself, 4 is your family, 7 is your relationships, and 10 is your career. So conflict within this pillars will bring consequences if you do not make the right decision. Yes, there are plenty decisions to make, because all these planets here, grahas, are fighting to bring out their energies, but Saturn is giving a little restraint and is helping us during this period to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. And these pillars here, if we need them to continue to be strong and stable and hold us up, then we need to make the right decision. And the right decision is going to not be influenced by the sun, so we have to be very careful of, you know, how we behave and what attitude we portray at this point in time. And then we have the 10 of Wands here as the destroyer, as to what has to be removed for us to move forward. And the 10 of Wands is saying that. And then we have the sustainer in the 8 of Pentacles with Mercury here, and the Mercury, remember, is in Taurus right now, and Mercury is saying, hello, you need to look at your communication, you need to maintain balance and to achieve that success and security. A rainy day is coming. Yes, plod along, because Saturn is telling you plod along, because Saturn is burdening you right now with things that you have to do. You are on a path to success, but you have to carry some little burden that you have, or some little issue that you have to resolve, and it has to be resolved mentally, not physically, because the moon is the energy of the card here. And the 8 of Pentacles is telling us, save for a rainy day, become a master of what we want to be, you know, because this is what will help you maintain balance. And you are going to maintain balance and not create that conflict by using your voice, by communicating, or by using the communication channels or mechanisms that are allowed to you at this point in time, whether it be through internet, through writing, through telephone, through computer, whatever it is. How do you communicate, and what you communicate, and the channels of communication you need has to bring you this confidence, this pride, this personal fulfillment, because you have gained the resources. Now you need to save resources. Now you need to protect those resources to maintain balance. And then in the creative aspect of it, we have the King of Swords, and the King of Swords is what drives you in the new direction. And here we have the energies here comes from Pallas, and Pallas is the sister of Aries, the Greek god of war. So the King of Swords, who is known as the communicator, is telling you, listen, do not make war. You need to create harmony. You know, you need to create harmony through working towards your goals, through savings, through communicating, and use your intellect, use your head, not your heart. Be impartial, be impersonal, be clinical, you know, communicate with power and authority, but also with honesty and truth. Your principles and standards, your moral and ethics are what should be guiding you to bring harmony to your life for this period, May 6th to 20th. This is what the King of Swords is telling you. So again, all these planets that are fighting to bring out their juices and their energies, Saturn hopefully is very strong in your chart, that this restraint we are speaking about, and the restraint that needs to be utilized for this period can be exercised. And then we go to the Cosmos, and the Cosmos is, you know, for the first card we have here the Queen of Swords, which is the feminine version of the King of Swords, and Saturn here is the energy, and Saturn here is telling you, use your intellect, Don't act quick without thinking. Don't take decisions quickly without thinking. Use your intellect, because the Queen of Swords again is all about the professional, all about intelligence, all about being clinical, all about being meticulous, aloof a little bit, but have integrity, honesty, and truth. She is the feminine version of the King of Swords, and she's telling us here how we are going to cope with the everyday life is here. What the truth counts. We need to look at our stability through being professional. So that is the message of the Queen of Swords. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is exploration of your emotions. It's the water of this cosmos, because remember, the cosmos is air, water, fire, and earth, and we just went through earth. This is water right now. So how do you explore your emotions? And when the Wheel of Fortune appears in a tarot spread, it strongly points to a positive change in your circumstances, so that if you're going through troubles or any issues right now, things are going to change. The Wheel of Fortune is going to spin in your favor. Likewise, though, the Wheel of Fortune can spin in the next direction, because it is a good omen for starting a business or taking a risk. But inherent in taking a risk is that things could not go your way because it's risky. And the Wheel of Fortune can spin to the left or the right. And we associate the left as negative and the right as positive. But at this point in time, with the Wheel of Fortune upright and in the emotional, you might be very emotional about this, the chances that you have, or the opportunities, or the decisions that you want to make. And that emotion could affect the pillars, the 4 pillars. It could affect the 8 of Pentacles. But the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords are telling you to use your intellect. In fact, Lady Luck appears to be shining down on you at this point in time. So don't be reckless, and under the influence that Jupiter or Venus may be giving you a lot of things, don't be reckless. Saturn is hopefully going to be very strong in your chart and giving you that restraint. But if Saturn is not strong, this is a potential for you to look at in this reading, so that you would know, hold your hand a little bit. Don't act without thinking, because the current strategies and thoughts for you comes from the 7 of Cups, which is all about emotions again. It's all about using your heart and thinking about things emotionally. But here it's telling you, find yourself, know yourself. It's personal fulfillment, because everything is involved here. You see, all the planets are on these cups. The 7 natural planets are represented here by these 7 cups. But the moon is there in the corner of the card, in the cups too, telling you, listen, don't be overwhelmed by your emotions. Don't be overwhelmed by these planets. Think properly so that you could understand yourself and make the correct decision. And then the final card we have here is the 9 of Wands. And I just want to go back to the 7 of Cups here, because we have Jupiter as the energy here. And Jupiter here, might want to expand a lot of things, and we might be very emotional because we didn't have what we wanted before and we are now getting it. But think about it. Think about it. Restrain yourself. Don't lose what you have worked for and achieved with the Queen of Pentacles. And the 9 of Wands is all about still being wary and on the lookout and guarded. You have gone through all this trouble to achieve all these resources. You have gone through all the trouble to become stable and financially secure. Don't lose it now. Take that breath. Still expect trouble. That you have shown the backbone. You have gone through everything now. Take this defensive stand. Take a breath, but you have the hidden reserves. You have the stamina, because through patience, perseverance, and persistence, and even your force of will, you have reached the stage where you have the Queen of Pentacles starting off this period for you. And this Mars energy here is saying, Don't be aggressive, still be guarded. Let Saturn help you make the correct decision. Mercury is there guiding you with reliable communication, because Mercury is in Taurus and Moon is in Gemini, and that is Mercury's sign. So your mental capacity right now is very reliable, very stable, very communicative, but in a good way or in the right way. So this is what we are talking about in terms of the reading for this card. And you know, it just shows you that the cards can be there to clarify for you, to give you a further insight into the transit of the grahas. And I hope you understand that, again, as I said, the transit of grahas and the analysis of transit is always secondary to which Mahadasha you are going through. So if you want to learn more about your Mahadasha, drop me a line at zeta55@outlook.com or visit my blog at zetaMastrology.com. Okay, let's try to find out now what the wisdom card growth is going to bring to us and tell us in our reading and analysis of the transit of the grahas and the tarot spread that we went through previously. And the wisdom card that we got was growth, and growth is all about taking a stand, breaking away from traditional values, thinking or acting outside the box, you know, transformation, risk. And this is what Mars wants to do in Aquarius. As we went through, Mars wants to rebel, but we need to do it, you know, a little bit logically. Growth is aligned to the Anahata chakra, so we may have dreams, we may have, you know, plans that we want to start, but always know that when you are growing in your business or in anything, that there is a chance of failure, because there's a risk. So that take the risk, but understand that you have to take it in a particular way and not hustling or you know, without thought. And Neptune here is the planet of illusion. He's the god of the sea, and Neptune keeps changing forms because Neptune is a manifestation of Maya, or illusion, as we see. You know, Neptune is what drives a person to rise above the illusion and see the reality of things, because the sea has hidden depths, and Neptune is the god of the sea. So he, you know, he might be a bit difficult to understand because you don't see everything. And remember, we spoke about this with the Queen of Pentacles. But Neptune is ever confusing and elusive, and most people don't see the real nature of Neptune. So that, and right now Neptune is in Aquarius with Saturn and Mars. So that, again, it is telling me that there might be some illusion. You know, you might have a myopic view of things and you do not see beyond the apparent or the visual of what is in front of you. So don't get trapped in this Maya, in this illusion, and become more depressed by the conflicts of the Four of Wands, or the conflict of the Eight of Pentacles, where you are seeking to save or restore your resources, you know, because Neptune is deception, but also about spirituality. It affects people in different ways, because we are all different. So that, you know, you have to look at the placement of Neptune in your natal chart to understand what is being hidden from you and what might be a deception. And Neptune is often believed to be the manifestation of Vishnu among the Tridevas, and Vishnu in our tarot spread is the sustainer. You know, how do you maintain balance? And the maintenance of the balance was the Eight of Pentacles, in that to achieve success and to have our resources grow and to have our resources remaining stable and reliable, we need to secure those resources. So this is the lesson here, or the analogy and the alignment of the wisdom card and the graha card with our tarot spread and transit of the graha. Okay, and here we have the rest of the energy cards, the 10th house, water as the element, and Indra, the king of the gods, as our final 3 cards. And the 10th house is all about responsibility. It brings success, but you become a person of power by working hard, because this is the house of karma. This is the house where you reap the rewards, where you have worked for them. And the Queen of Pentacles speaks to that, because the Queen of Pentacles is, you know, having abundance, having success, but is only having success by you working for it. And the 10th house tells you that you being responsible and you working for your desires, you will reach your destiny, your career, of being successful in your career, being successful in your life, having the status that you want to achieve, you know. So this is what it's telling you for the 10th house, and it aligns to the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is all about resources, and Venus and Jupiter wanting to expand and give you those resources. We went through Neptune and the King of Swords and Queen of Swords, with the air telling you use your head, not your heart. And the water here is all about, you know, your emotions, the flow of emotions. So we look at the flow of emotions, but understand, yes, we can be emotional about our dreams or aspirations, but at this period in time we have to think logically. We have to think with the Queen and the King of Swords. Indra is the king of the gods, and he is all about wealth, success, leadership, and security in times of aggression. So this goes right back to the Queen of Pentacles, to Mars and Venus and Jupiter fighting and being aggressive to give you what you want, but they are being restrained by Saturn, because they are in Saturn's house and Saturn's nakshatra. So that, you know, that restraint, hopefully for you, that Saturn is strong enough to bring that restraint to fruition, so that they can be restrained to give you this security in times of aggression. And you know, Indra is an ancient Vedic deity, and he's the king of heaven and the devas, and he's associated with clearly everything in Hinduism: the sky, lightning, weather, thunder, storms, rains, the rivers, and war. And remember, we don't want to bring about war with our communication. We want to be logical, we want to be stable, we want to be reliable. And Lord Indra is attributed to have set order to the cosmos, you know, and is considered to be the one who brought water to the earth. You know, he's regarded as a fertility god. And one of the special powers of Lord Indra is that he can revive slain warriors who had fallen in battle. So, you know, if you feel depressed and you feel that you have done everything, like the 9 of Wands, and you are weary now, Lord Indra is there to sustain you, to give you that added persistence, that added perseverance and patience, that you know, that strength to be on your guard, that you are expecting trouble and it's going to come, but he's going to give you security in war. So all these cards are aligning to the reading, are aligning to the placement of the planets in the transit of the grahas for this period. Before I close off on this video on the transit series, I ask that you share, sign up, subscribe to my ZetaMastrology.com. You can send me a message at zeta55@outlook.com. Here you are going to get your tarot spreads, your runes, your chakras, your crystals. You are going to get your patra readings and tarot spreads. Bhagwan has once again given me the knowledge and the resources to bring these messages to you. I hope, like Mercury, it was not garbled or miscommunicated. Should you not understand anything, I ask that you drop me a line at zeta55@outlook.com so that I can have a conversation or dialogue with you. I thank you for listening, and I hope something new and exciting enters your thoughts and enables your dream. Be safe, happy and healthy until we meet again. See you next time. Bye.